Welcome to the RSP Boiler Room. I'm Matt Waldman with the Rookie Scouting Portfolio. Kennedy Brooks, I've touched on his game in the past. He's a mild-mannered magician, and what I mean by that is that his athletic ability probably is mild-mannered relative to running back prospects in most draft classes. But his conceptual and technical skills and how he bleeds every ounce from his ability is just really impressive. And we're going to watch this play and give you kind of an idea why, and we'll maybe take a look at another one here. But you're going to see here, you've got your double team here to this side, to the right, to the excuse me, in the middle, and then you have a double team to the left here. Brooks heads between those double teams here, gets within about a step of his line as he sees the linebacker coming. There he is, that step between there. You can see the helmet of the linebacker coming through here and just dips around, skims right off the backs of his blocks to get the edge, and then makes a cut inside here. And he's very good at making downhill cuts after going laterally and just slides right past the linebacker number 0. Drops his pads just enough to bounce off of a glancing shot from one defensive back, gets under the hit and bounces off the hit of a second defensive back, and then gets dragged or drags a couple of defensive backs for a couple more yards. But to be able to bounce off multiple hits like this is pretty impressive. Let's look at it from this point of view and you'll see what I'm saying. Because here he is pressing. See how he's heading towards the outside, but then he turns his pads downhill. He draws in 47 within a step and then dips and slides right out. Clinton Portis had this kind of skill. This kind of skill to just like really get tight to his blocks and press deeply. And then you can see him work through here, drop the pads a little bit, but really it's the stiff arm. He has an underrated stiff arm. He always has good location with it. He seems to use it in tight quarters and be able to just shed defenders and prevent them from really getting the wrap that they expect. He'll show them the stiff arm and kind of give himself a buffer of space and then take it away, and they think they can grab onto it and they completely miss him. It just looks like there's like this microscopic force field around him that you can get unbelievably close, but you can never really seem to wrap him. He has that kind of skill with that stiff arm here. Gets kicked a little bit by 0, but no matter. Drops that forearm shiver right into the pads of 28 and knocks him down, and then uses a little bit of a balance touch off of that forearm shiver to stay upright. Takes a hit by the other defensive back right here. Longer stride to be able to work through that so that he can stay upright. Let's look at look at the sequence again here. Because again, there's the forearm, that right arm. Knocks that away. Brings the forearm up again. Now he uses it as kind of the elbow to hammer down on the defender. Almost balanced touches, but doesn't need to. Takes this hit, and watch that long stride to be able to work through that. And he's only fumbled once in 501 touches throughout his career. So when they rip at that ball, good luck with that. Here's another good-looking run from Kennedy Brooks. You're going to see the patience here, and then he hits it immediately, bounces off a linebacker's indirect contact, and then stretches his run all the way down inside the 15. And yeah, it's a fumble there, at least that's what it's called on the field, but he was down. We're going to take a look at it one more time here. And what you just see is, again, a masterful stiff arm, masterful patience. I mean, the slow patience, slow to set up this crease, lets his defender get on number 0, and then just that suddenness of the cut. Watch how sudden this cut downhill really feels based on the difference in the approach to hitting the downhill. And when he hits it downhill, that, you know, with that conviction, that helps him when he attacks this linebacker with the stiff arm. Brings the arm up, brings it out, hits the chest of the defender. He's the one making the first contact. And because he establishes the contact first and he's downhill, the linebacker just sloughs off of him. I mean, he has no shot. And then there's enough burst there. I mean, he's getting chased by the cornerback for about 40 yards here. Let's take a look at it one more time. Here's the cornerback. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Basically 50 yards, 45 to 50 yards before the defender is able to make contact. And you can see that Brooks was down before this ball comes out. There's the knee. There's the ball coming out after he turns and lands on his butt. His cutting ability, his patience, the micro movements, the stiff arm, just his understanding of angles and pacing and are really elite. I mean, his concepts and technical skills as a runner are elite. If his athletic ability were anywhere near as elite as the rest of his skills, he'd be the best back in this class. I mean, it wouldn't even be a question. When you watch this, I mean, you're going to see power here, works to the outside. We get a player coming downhill. He's able to turn away from that and then make a cut inside another linebacker. And then yards after contact here. And Baylor's a good defense. Let's take a look at it from this angle because it's just all deceptive. It all looks very mild because the athletic ability doesn't jump off the page. But he consistently just gets past people. You see the penetration here, the angle here by 98. Good job just turning the hips outside that, no problem. Here comes the linebacker number 2. See that little stutter? That little stutter gets the linebacker to freeze. See how he was heading downhill, but that stutter breaks the linebacker down. And he just times things well. He anticipates it just early enough that even a better athlete is going to wind up losing here. And he gets away from him. Just that change of pace. Okay, so now we have 42 coming downhill. Look at this. Nice transition. I mean, again, running backs who can transition with 1 to 2 steps that's a starter level transition in the NFL. To be able to go from a sideline approach to a downhill approach in 1 to 2 small steps. And he often does it with just 1 step. 2 little steps right there. Gets inside and watch the stiff arm. Because this is what's fascinating. Bring this free arm up. Watch how he brings that free arm up as if he's going to stiff arm 42. See how it's almost into the chest? Watch him bring the arm away. He brings the arm back and retracts it right there. So the defender's going to, it looks like the defender's about to grab on the stiff arm right here. And it's like he, instead of giving a leg, taking it away, he gives the stiff arm and takes it away. And then just leans away. That's a micro movement. The ability to use your pads, your hips, your torso, and just make minor adjustments to avoid tight angles. And that's what he does in a superb way as a runner. Gets square downhill, and he's able to use the stiff arm now against the defensive lineman and just shove him aside. That's like a close quarters, uppercut. Like a close quarters body work as a boxer. To be able to just shake that man, bring that stiff arm and shake him aside. And he throws this man aside. Now, he's really throwing him aside by letting the momentum of the defender work in his favor. And that's what he does. But the fact that that stiff arm's a little bit of encouragement and he can do that in small spaces is excellent. And then now he gets some indirect contact. And, of course, he has a man blocking number 5, so it's not full contact here. But he's able to keep his legs moving. He takes a hard hit from 31. That doesn't knock him backwards. Hit right in the chest. Knocks him sideways, but he's still moving. If he had more teammates rallying to the ball here and pushing, he might have even gotten more yards even after that contact. And that's the thing about Kennedy Brooks, is that he creates opportunities to make positive plays. And good players, when you at the core of evaluation is, does the player do things athletically, technically, conceptually, intuitively to set up their teammates or themselves for positive plays? This creates a positive situation. He gets outside. Right there. He does that to be able to get outside. He creates this to be able to get downhill. He does this to be able to get more yards after contact. And then pad level, footwork, gives his teammates a chance to rally behind him and get a push if they would rally to the ball a little bit more, if there were more guys around here to do that. Say like this offensive lineman behind the Big 12 signal, symbol here. Kennedy Brooks, very intelligent, intuitive, technically sound running back. If he's able to prove that his athletic ability is enough for a scheme in the NFL, he could really surprise as a lead back. Thanks again for watching. For more RSP Boiler Room videos, you can check out my YouTube channel, Matt Waldman's RSP Film Room, and my site, www.mattwaldmanrsp.com.